What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing, and it's the 27th of August, 2023. Sunday, after taking the week off last week, and thank you for all of the support on the last week's little short video that I put out. Apparently everyone's going through the same thing. You know, the world, the news is just so maddening, it's hard to, this week is no different. I have just a gaggle of links to give you. I'm going to try to do the report. I'm just going to stick to the headlines. I'll do a little commentary, but I don't want to get too far carried away with it. I actually did shoot a report last week, but I couldn't post it because it just consisted of, oh my God, what's happening? And that's not going to help anyone. Let's just jump into the news. As always, the first link below will take you over to the Patreon. That's where you can find all of the madness. Let me just start off with a little bit of this. Let's see what's going on here.
By the middle of September, you all have to wear masks again because of the new variant in Canada.
Goes on to talk about how by December it's going to be full-blown lockdown again. I would suggest you not worry about the messenger and worry about the message, because he's been right more than once. I'll put a link to that. How convenient Biden regime begins procuring COVID-19 equipment. It's all, here we go again, people. I got a bunch of the stuff. The WHO, CDC, Biden administration, fear-mongering new COVID variant, BA2.86, highly mutated strain reported in Michigan now. If you just scroll through the headlines here, a bunch of headlines here. I mean, you tell me. What are we heading into in the fall? COVID mandates return to Hollywood. Check it out. Lionsgate requires employees to mask up, submit to daily testing. Yeah, brand new article. It's really happening. Mask mandates, contact tracing re-implemented at colleges and offices. I don't know. Do you think the people are going to go along with it again? I don't want to say too much. But link to that. Kentucky schools apparently having problems with COVID, flu, and strep outbreaks. They're shutting down schools, August 24th in the New York Post. Biden administration to urge all Americans, get a coronavirus booster now. Get it now. Look what the CDC just put out. Okay, this is cdc.gov, so it's not misinformation. This is the cdc.gov website. The risk assessment for this new variant. You scroll down here. BA.2.86 may be more capable of causing infection in people who have previously had COVID-19, okay, or who have received COVID-19 vaccines. That's coming directly from the CDC. So if you're vaccinated, you may be more susceptible to this variant. Fact. That's what they're reporting. We got deaths this week. WWE superstar dies at 36 unexpectedly. We got 2 athletes dead during Ironman event. If you scroll down, it's some sort of cardiac event on one, and the other one is completely mysterious. Everyone's baffled. Nobody knows why. Other news going on this week, though. Mugshot. Donald Trump is back on Twitter at Real Donald Trump. This is his first post since he's been reinstated. His mugshot from when he was arrested down in Atlanta this week. Election interference. Never surrender. DonaldTrump.com. What do you think about all this? Here's the other mugshots. We got Rudy Giuliani. I'll put a link to the GLP thread. We got him. We got Sidney Powell. We got the other lady. She was having a great old time. Look at that. I don't know, man. This is craziness. For the first time in our country's history, we have a U.S. presidential mugshot. And these are unprecedented times with him. And the mainstream media seems to think, well, if he's tried and convicted of these charges, he stands no chance of winning the election, blah, blah, blah. It's like they don't understand that the more they vilify him, the more they charge him with, the more times he gets convicted. If he gets convicted, the Trump supporters are only going to dig in more. I'm just looking at it as entertainment. I mean, you tell me. Over to financial news. It is definitely entertaining, is it not? How the major U.S. stock markets fared on the Friday. Let's see what happened in the markets last week. The Dow Jones rose 247, ended the week at 34,346, ended the week down 153 points. I think it was down last week, too. I'll put a link to the market recap data if you want to check it out. The S&P downgrades 5 banks following Moody's lead. That's seen in business. We got almost time to rage. United Auto Workers to vote to authorize strikes at GM and Ford. Auto workers going on. Well, people can't afford cars anyway. Check this out. Car prices might be unsustainable for buyers. People are defaulting on their car loans left and right. Put a link to that. Not good. Americans panic search living off grid. Live off grid as housing costs worsen. Democratic cities implode. People are looking at living off the grid. Right on. Council meeting by affluent Bay Area, I think this is out in California, descends into chaos as residents protest turning hotel into homes for 100 homeless people. Not in my backyard. Put a link to that. We get more layoffs. T-Mobile to lay off 5,000 employees, or about 7% of its workforce. I don't feel sorry for them at all because I'm tired of getting their damn spam in the mail. I told them a million times, stop sending crap. They just keep sending their crap. Well, now they're going under. Right on. Dick's Sporting Goods. Does anyone else get frustrated by spam? Dick's Sporting Goods. Stock market tanks as retail thieves snatch profits. They're just stealing stuff everywhere. The stores are going downhill. But hey, Joe Biden unveils his new student loan plan, the SAVE plan. It's the most affordable student plan loan. If you want to check it out, I'll link to that. Meanwhile, Mr. President, people can't afford soup. The cost of soup is about to soar even higher. Thank you to President Biden. That from Zero Hedge. Got a couple more here. Even millionaires are feeling financially insecure. Report finds that from CNBC. And I got one at the bottom. Shouldn't taxpayers have to pay for uteruses transplants to help transgender women get pregnant? It's craziness. Over to New World Order Police State News, where I stop and ask you, please share the video. There's a lot of stuff coming up that people need to know about, and I'll try to keep the language in check. Let's listen to a little bit of this real quick. Be advised, my friends in the EU.
Hate speech and disinformation online. This is what we're all fed up with, right? In the European Union, a groundbreaking new law is coming into effect this week to tackle exactly these problems. It's called the Digital Services Act, or DSA. The big cleanup pushes platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Amazon, Instagram, and Twitter, now known as X, to actually change their services. TikTok will introduce new ways to report illegal content with categories like hate speech, self-harm, misinformation, and scam. On Facebook and Instagram, European users will have the option to view
more locked up the internet coming to the United States sooner than you know it. FCC invites comment on request to deny Fox TV license renewal because Fox News isn't saying the things the New World Order might want them to say. Now they're not going to give them a license to broadcast. I mean, I think it's all New World Order control anyway, you know, controlled opposition. But what are your thoughts there? A whole new level of verifying your identity on Twitter will take a selfie. Check it out. You're going to have to verify yourself on Twitter now, or X, whatever they're calling it. You're going to have to take selfie, and they're going to have to also provide a government-issued ID. I'll put a link to this. Bill Gates unveils his new preferred digital ID program. He's running his mouth. About 850 million people lack ID that proves their identity. We need to get all these people digital microchips and all this stuff. You know how it's going to go. Rutgers set to disenroll students on August 15th if not compliant with COVID vaccine mandates. So if you don't have the code, you're going to get kicked out of school again. Here we go again. Fauci declares lockdowns were absolutely justified and suggests they should be used again to forced vaccinations. I'll put a link to this. Man, this UK population collapse, good for the planet. World Economic Forum advisor says. I'm sure they do say that because, you know, they're, well, I better not say too much. But do they have some responsibility in the depopulation? I wonder. St. Louis mayor in the gun control bin wants to ban AR-15. Listen to this for a second.
Mayor Tashora Jones wants to ban AR-15s and AK-47s from city streets. The mayor's office is partnering with area aldermen to address gun violence by introducing new legislation.
Oh, I agree, dumbass mayor lady, but you know what? I'm out in the city every day. I don't see too many law-abiding citizens walking around with AR-15s and AK-47s. So, do you really believe the criminals are going to put their guns away if you tell them to? Are you kidding me? St. Louis mayor announces plans to outlaw AR-15s and AK-47 military-style weapons, hopes criminals will comply. Well, seeing as how the police departments in the city and the county will no longer pursue anyone, and the criminals have figured this out, there's no end to this violence. There's no end to this madness. I mean, I know anti-crime does what they do, and they do a hell of a good job, but there's only so many of them. You need to reinstate the pursuit policies and start getting these people off the streets for real. You want my opinion? We'll go into that in another video. Alabama can enforce ban on puberty blockers and hormones for transgender children. Some good news this week in the agenda bin. We got this in the Moroccan migrants force a Belgian boy to kneel or kiss their feet. This in the immigration bin. Look what's happening. This is what mass migration has brought us. Let's see you try that shit in the United States. And I got one at the bottom. Up in New York, Adams demands the governor to use emergency powers to force all New Yorkers to accept migrants. Now, see, this is what happened last week. I'm getting so worked up, I'm about to shut off the camera. I just need to enhance my calm, John Spartan. I would like to give a small shout out to the St. Louis City anti-crime cops and the mobile reserve and those guys, because they do a killer job out there doing what they do, trying to deal with some of this crime. But there are only so many people in these specialized units. You know, we really need a good pursuit policy for the city and the county to you know, this. We'll talk about that some other time. Over to World War III news. It's just stuff that bothers me. Animation shows path of plane listed as having Wagner leader on board. Yeah, the Wagner leader apparently has been assassinated. His plane was shot down. I got that. This is video of, I think, the plane coming apart. There's pieces of it out here. If you scroll to later in the video, there's the aftermath. So they killed that guy, so I would expect some crazy retaliation over that. Incredible destruction. Ukraine loses 31 vehicles, 7,000 men, liberating 2 villages. This August 21 from the Gateway Pundit. We got Moscow under huge kamikaze drone siege, shutting down all major airports, blasting near Putin's home. Putin's Iron Doll. I'm not quite sure what that is. That from The Sun. We got major threat to America. Communist dictator Nicaragua authorizes installation of Russian military bases and cruise missiles in the country. That's interesting. I like that. Keep an eye on that. We are ready to exchange Belgrade for NATO membership, says Zelensky. That from Microsoft Start. North Korea in the news again this week says the latest spy satellite launch failed, but they will try again. I guess that was something to do with this. I don't know if it was the same. The Japanese warning went out in Okinawa. People to seek shelter because North Korea had launched some sort of projectile. They did indeed have plans to launch satellite as Seoul and U.S. hold drills. Apparently this is retaliation for the drills that are going on. North Korea has released ominous warning stating that they were waiting for the moment to punish South Korea and the United States for conducting joint military exercises. They are not ruling out thermonuclear war. Operation Blackjack alert on that one. Mark Meadows, other news going on, says Trump left top secret Iran war plans on the couch at the golf resort. I got one at the bottom, just miscellaneous. Saudi border guards accused of killing hundreds of African migrants. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news. Not got the earthquake map set up for 6 points and above for the past week. Looks like we only had two. We had a 6.2 and a 6.2 both on the 23rd. A couple minutes apart. I'll put a link to this. Drop down to 5. A lot of 5s going on around the world as usual. Didn't see too much on volcanoes this week. I'll put a link to the recap data there. We refuse to, the world is on fire. We refuse to watch things burn. Canadians steal firefighting gear as Justin Trudeau yells at Facebook. I don't know what's wrong with the people up in Canada. I guess they're not getting fire service from their firefighters or something. They're taking gear and fighting fires for themselves because they don't want to watch it burn. Apparently the leaders just want to sit back and watch the world burn. So those people are trying to do something. Maui fire investigation. Top emergency officials were on different island for disaster training as flames flared. Did not join response call until 5 hours after the deadly wildfires began. So so much strange stuff going on in Hawaii, and just heartbreaking what has happened there. Children were incinerated to ash. Livid Hawaiians slam Biden for cracking jokes, lying about his wife. Of course, he went over there and started running his dumbass mouth and just insulted everybody. And can he say anything intelligent? This guy here's got a map of apparently
behind me are active wildfires.
Check this
as identified by satellite. Now this is on Weather Underground. You can set the layers, and you can choose
the whole world
to pull this up.
The United
now,
States,
I saw this
Canada,
video going on TikTok of this girl going through this, showing the world burning, and I had to go check for myself because I just wanted to verify and make sure, and it was true. All what you're seeing here are active fires happening presently, and look at Europe. I mean, I've never seen this before. This amount of activity. This is all climate change, right? I mean, yeah. Look at Africa.
Look at that.
Are they okay?
It's climate change.
Really? Because that isn't...
This guy here seems to think it's all our fault.
It seems like the whole world is on fire. We need to defend ourselves from climate change. We need to decarbonize our economy so these fires don't ravage us.
We need to decarbonize our economy so the fires don't get us. What's going on with the sun? Well, I got a link on that coming up. Let's talk about flooding. Out in Las Vegas, we got multiple people swept away by Las Vegas flash floods. Got more of that going on. We had the aftermath of what went on out in California. Ring of water surrounds Dodger Stadium in LA. There was a picture here, but I guess it doesn't work anymore. I'll put a link to the tweet anyway. Maybe the picture's just temporarily down. Fukushima wastewater, speaking of the ocean, released into the ocean. China bans all Japanese seafood there. They're releasing radioactive water into the ocean. Let's see how that works out. Is that climate change's fault too? Massive blaze erupts. Speaking of China, office building, and check this out. Big, look at this. The whole fire up the side of the building. Did it collapse? Probably not. I'll put a link to that. We got space news. Luna 25 has crashed into the moon. That was the Russia. Was that the Russia probe that they sent to the moon? Russia Space Agency says. I'll put a link to this from the Times of India. And I got one at the bottom, miscellaneous. Speaking of the sun, NASA discovers sunspots so big it can be seen from Mars. Could release solar storms that knock out Earth's power grids next week. I don't know where the temperature is where you are this week, but in St. Louis this week it was 100 plus all week long. Heat index is like 120. I mean, and that wasn't climate change. That was the sun that did that. Anyway, over to strange and bizarre news. Be advised, I'm going to play some videos for you. It might be a little bit of language, so language warning on some of this. Let's see. Let's start off with people skills. Angry Donut Lady.
And give me back my fucking donuts.
She wants her donuts.
I paid for them, they're mine.
It's not yours, it's mine. Cartman style.
I want a dozen fucking donuts now.
That goes on for a while. She's crazy about her donuts. Meanwhile, these even store needs a guy. Every store needs a guy like this. Check it out. There's people trying to steal stuff. This guy grabs them as they go out. Right on. It's the only thing you can do. The cops aren't going to do anything. People are going to have to take shit back, man. And just shout out to that guy. California store owner and mother of 9 fatally shot over pride flag displayed in her shop. Somebody didn't like the pride. You just can't be killing people. You know, you might not agree with the way things are, but you just can't be killing people, man. That's just sad. Deputies kill suspect after 3 killed, 6 injured in a Canyon bar. I think was this the guy who was an ex-cop, I think? Yeah, ex-law enforcement officer went into a bar and started killing people. Pulling into that craziness, we got this guy over here, a crazy guy in Denmark attacking people with a knife. Then I think the people attacked him. If I get that right? Let's see. Yeah, see? People, yeah, take him down. Shout out to those guys. Got to start taking it back, man. Student killed. I got tragic news here. 23 hurt. School bus crash on the first day of elementary school in Ohio. Apparently there was a car, I don't know if it was, came into the lane of the bus, and the bus tried to go on the shoulder to swerve, and it just didn't work out. And man, heart goes out to everybody involved. They're over in Atlanta. You got more madness on the streets. This truck doing donuts. Watch this. You can't really tell from here, but he runs over a bunch of people here. Several people got hit there. And watch how this cop ends things. Here we go. Watch this.
You caught, buddy. You caught like a motherfucker. You caught, baby.
There you go.
You caught, baby.
You ain't having it no more.
You caught, baby.
He just ran over a bunch of people.
You caught.
He got dealt with. We got people in the roadway. Check this out.
Go ahead, move. Like, get the fuck out of my way. Go ahead, Terrence.
People trying to shut down D.C. over the climate. This lady's like, I got stuff to do.
We have traffic stop.
I don't give a fuck.
A little bit.
Come on. Y'all holding me up. The fuck? I got a goddamn job and shit.
I agree with her. Get the hell out of the road. Go protest on the sidewalk in front of the White House or some shit. You're going to shut down a highway? Sooner or later, you're going to come across a bipolar person that's just going to run your ass down without thinking about it twice. People on motorcycles, please be careful. Don't end up like this guy. Check this out. He's trying to pass his truck. Doesn't work out. Oh, my God. Wait till you see what happens to his foot. Be advised. Very graphic. Turn it off. You don't want to see it. Look at this. His foot is just absolutely crushed. There's no more foot. Please be careful. Neighbor arrested after injecting chemical into Bay Area family's home. Apparently he doesn't like his neighbor. He's been stuffing chemicals through their door, making them sick. So he finally got caught. I don't think anybody got seriously hurt there. Lizzo, no longer speaking of things that smell, wears deodorant, just like Matthew McConaughey. I don't know. And I got one at the bottom here. Let's listen to what this lady has to say.
Sexuality expert claims parents must ask permission before changing their child's nappy. Deanne Carson believes consent must be given by the child before their dirty nappy is removed.
I don't understand this world we're living in. That's all I got for all the news. Please check my favorites. There's all kinds of updated stuff over here. Bob Barker passed away at 99. NYPD throws cooler. Drug suspect fleeing on a motorcycle causes a crash. The Patriot nurse, nothing left to lose. Trump's arrest. You assholes, 98-year-old woman has a search warrant executed on her home, dies the next day. Tragic story there. Please check out my favorites. All kinds of updated stuff over there. Thank you to everybody putting out content, keeping people informed. You guys are doing awesome work. I'm going to wrap all this up with a few shout-outs. Once again, shout-out to the Bull. I found this link over on GLP this week. Check it out. A bull has went after someone else. The Bull is tired of being messed with. Stop messing with the Bull. He's had enough. He's not playing anymore. He's done with all this foolishness. So the Bull's tearing people up once again. Shout out, speaking of bulls, shout out to St. Louis City firefighters that have been, man, all week long they have been dealing with this 100+ heat. I'm going to play a little clip from the chief here.
Lose 8-10 pounds on a single call.
They have just been out there working fires in this 120-degree heat index heat. It's just nuts.
St. Louis Fire Chief Dennis Jankerson says when his crews come out of a structure fire, there's no relief because the temps outside are nearly 100 degrees right now.
You have to put these firefighters under a spray of water to keep them cool. You know, we've got to get them rehydrated. We have to get them cooled down, their core body temperature, and it's a dangerous heat condition.
And with the nights not offering much of a cool down, he says it will only get worse.
So shout out to the first responders in St. Louis and everywhere. Appreciate your local firemen. You know, even your cops, your paramedics, they're all out there on the streets in this heat. You can enjoy your air conditioning, but they're out there. If something goes down, they're out there dealing with it. Shout out to a smart shopper. Check this out.
Price is a lie, because look, it's
$5.88 everyday low price, right?
88 cents. This is the rollback. It's the exact same price.
But what's it say it's supposed to be?
It's meant to be $6.77.
So what's Walmart doing?
They're scamming people.
I know, shout out to a smart shopper. And shout out to Say No to Lockdown.
Like, everybody's still going on that bullshit. Everybody trying to flip the script.
We ain't doing this again.
We're not doing this shit again. We not finna do this shit. Just because it's election season, we not going through this shit again. That shit is dead. I ain't never wore no mask. I ain't took no shot. Ain't finna take no shot. Ain't wearing no mask. And I'm gonna tell you like this right here. Don't come around me with that bullshit talking about some, you need to mask up. You need to chew ass up. Say one more motherfucking thing to me about getting the vaccine.
Real talk. We'll see what happens, because I guarantee you they're going to do this again. We all predicted they would. Now all these links are coming out saying that this is what's going to happen. September, October, November, December, we're going to be 100% full lockdown. Let's see what happens. Prepare yourselves. Stock up whatever you need now. It's going to get real, people. That's all I got for this week. If you like the report, please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you thought it sucked, it's the worst you've ever watched. You never want to see again, please rate, though. It helps move around. You can also follow me on all my links below. My BitChute, Twitter, Gab, or X, whatever it's called now, the Facebook, all the links are at the bottom. You can support me on Patreon or directly with DonorBox. A lot goes into these reports. I'm going to try to keep them going. You know, there may be weeks where I need to take a week off here and there, but overall, I'm going to try to keep the report going, especially through the fall and winter months, because we got some crazy times ahead. You know, World War III is all over the table. The COVID's all over the table now. The vaccines are going to start coming strong again. I mean, it's going to be full court press by the New World Order by the fall. So prepare yourselves. I'll be here trying to keep everybody up to date on the latest madness. You guys take care, stay safe. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes on a Sunday while I give you the news. I love you very much. I will see you on the next one.